is talking about openly defying the Constitution. Trump is talking about openly defying the Constitution. President Trump is talking about openly defying the Constitution, saying he's considering running for a third term, despite the 22nd Amendment limiting a president to 2 terms. He's also ramping up his trade war. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the latest. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, this would defy the Constitution, but this morning President Trump isn't ruling out seeking another term as president. In some of his strongest comments yet, President Trump says he's considering his options to serve a 3rd term in office, a breach of the Constitution's 2-term limit for presidents.
I didn't want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that.
In a phone call with NBC, Trump saying, quote, there are methods which you could do it, including possibly urging his vice president, J.D. Vance, to run and then cede power back to Trump. The president saying that's one method, but that there are others, too. But a 3rd term would defy the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, which says no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. When asked to clarify, Trump doubling down, saying, I'm not joking, but then adding, it is far too early to think about it. Overnight on Air Force One, Trump declining to respond when asked point blank if he's planning to leave office in 2029 and refusing to comment further on specifics. It's an idea the president and his allies have publicly toyed with for months.
I've raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I can't use for myself, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I think I'm not allowed to run again. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to run again?
Amending the Constitution to run again would require 2/3 approval by Congress and then ratification by 38 states. Democrats sounding the alarm. Congressman Dan Goldman saying this is yet another escalation in his clear effort to take over the government and dismantle our democracy. Now, this all comes as President Trump this week is poised to upend global trade, promising to unleash those sweeping reciprocal tariffs. He's dubbed Wednesday Liberation Day. Now, the scope of these tariffs and how punishing they will be remains unclear, but the president overnight promised to be, quote, generous. But economists, of course, warn that American consumers will ultimately pay the price for this, that costs could rise on everything from produce to electronics to cars, of course, as Trump's 25% tariffs on all imported cars and auto parts are also set to go into effect later this week, George.
Yeah, and that is hitting markets around the world.
Want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. I asked Jerry and I asked some of the folks because I hear this is a major theme right here, but 2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game. Where the Spirit of the Lord... right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And here there is Liberty College, but Liberty University. But it is so true. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
Donald Trump today trumpeting his faith.
I wrote many bestsellers like The Art of the Deal. I always say a deep second to the Bible. The Bible is the best, the Bible. The Bible blows it away.
Giving the convocation at Liberty University and in an attempt to connect with evangelical students, quoting from Scripture.
Right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game.
But wrongly referring to it as 2 Corinthians instead of 2 Corinthians, drawing laughter from the religious crowd. It's just one of a series of stumbles Trump has made attempting to court the powerful evangelical vote.
People are so shocked when they find this out. I'm Protestant, I'm Presbyterian.
While talking openly about his religion, his upbringing, going to Sunday school and worshiping at one time in this church in Queens, Trump also admits that he has never asked God for forgiveness.
When we go in church and when I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker, I guess that's a form of asking for forgiveness.
Which he now explains to CNN's Jake Tapper is because he feels he doesn't need to.
I like to be good. I don't like to have to ask for forgiveness, and I am good. I don't do a lot of things that are bad.
He's not the textbook definition of a God-fearing man, with the insults,
What a stiff.
the ego,
That means I'm a star. That's a star.
the excess,
I'm really rich.
3 marriages and an empire built in part on greed.
I have great relationship with God. I have great relationship with the evangelicals.
But his
Christian. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
That's a tough question. I don't think in terms of, I'm a religious person. Shockingly, because people are so shocked when they find this out, I'm Protestant, I'm Presbyterian, and I go to church and I love God and I love my church. And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale was my pastor. The power of positive thinking. Everybody's heard of Norman Vincent Peale. He was so great. He would give a sermon, you never wanted to leave. Sometimes we have sermons, every once in a while we think about leaving a little early, right? Even though we're Christian. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Frank, would give a sermon. I'm telling you, I still remember his sermons. It was unbelievable. And what he would do is he'd bring real life situations, modern day situations into the sermon. And you could listen to him all day long. When you left the church, you were disappointed that it was over. He was the greatest guy. And then, he passed away, but he was great. He wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, which is a great book.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have. I just go on and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't. Now, when I take, when we go to church and when I drink Mother wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker, I guess that's a form of asking for forgiveness. And I do that as often as possible because I feel cleansed, okay? But, to me that's important. I do that. But in terms of officially, I could say absolutely, and everybody, I don't think in terms of that. I think in terms of let's go on and let's make it right.